week. Hope everything is going well for everybody. We are now, this will be the first of 8 total sessions that are actually of good society gameplay. Just to just to help introduce everybody, does everyone just want to kind of say the name of their characters really quick? Glenn, it looks like you're at the top of at least my list for the users. Do you just want to introduce who your quickly? Introduce who your character is.
Yes. Hi, I'm Glenn. I will be playing Roman Ivanovich, and quick snippet: he's a very nosy fellow.
All right. Danny, do you want to go next?
I'm trying to find the character sheets. I'm sorry, I'm so disorientated.
Oh, that's okay. It's the top pin, I believe. Top pin shared character sheet.
I know it's in the top pin. I'm just like losing my mind. I can't find channels or anything.
Find the channel that you can't read.
There are several.
Which one of them?
Yeah, there's 2. I am Magdalena Durchdenwald. I am a German exile of the Napoleonic Wars, and yeah.
Katie, do you want to go next?
That explains the name. Oh, hey, Katie!
Hey, it's like our first time actually playing together.
Yeah.
So I'm just like changing one little detail on her. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I'm Katie, and I am playing technically a baroness, a Katerina, but she's in a weird position where that doesn't really mean much. She's still a dependent. So, I guess I won't give like a huge bio, but it's a Katerina Kholodova.
Right. So my character is a Countess Galina Yermakova, and she has recently come into a very large inheritance and is trying to learn how to run an estate, which is something she has never done before, and is kind of losing her mind over it. Ross, would you like to go next?
Sure. My name is Ross, and I am playing Konstantin Denisovich Vasilyev. And he is a bachelor from a foreign land who, the name Vasilyev draws whisper and ires in Western Russia because his family are thought to be traitors during the war with the Turks, or at least on the border with Russia or Georgia 10 years ago when the current Tsar took power.
Okay.
And yeah.
And Thika, would you like to finish us off?
I am playing Togor Vladislavovich. He's a bit of a mystery in this particular case.
All right. So, our story opens, it's about 2 weeks after Easter in late April. The year is 1810. The Napoleonic Wars have been going on for some time, and the current Tsar is Tsar Alexander I. But many people do still fondly remember his grandmother, Catherine the Great, who passed still with about 14, 15 years ago, within living memory of most people at this point. And our story begins. It's with a long winter is past, and now this is one of the first lovely days in spring. The Russian winter is finally over. Magdalena Durchdenwald has graciously opened up the home of actually her benefactor, Anastasia, or Anastasia, to be more correct with the pronunciation. Kind of this lovely palatial estate just on the outskirts of Saint Petersburg. The gilded gates have been thrown open, and the servants dressed in fine frocks attend to the guests' needs. Small pastries, boiled eggs, slices of cured meat, champagne, and wine are in abundance. Most people are outside enjoying the gardens and the fine weather and the fountains, but there are more intimate rooms inside for people looking to have a bit more of a private conversation, or also to play cards, which is a common pastime. So, does anybody to begin with, yeah, it's or does anybody have anything they would like to add to that?
Not yet.
Right.
I'm still catching up on NPCs. Just
Yep,
begin
no
to drop
worries.
these, yeah.
Actually, that was what I was doing too.
But I would also love to see, although I saw the example videos, would love to see an example of the novel phase gameplay.
Yeah, so this is what we're currently in, is actually the novel phase.
Yeah, see somebody drop it down. I want to witness it. I want to see it.
I feel like we're all
Yes.
extremely nervous about that.
Yeah.
Oh, all of us then. Oh, okay.
You know what? We'd all love
Well,
to see an example. Just I think everyone needs like a practice
Yeah, so,
round.
so,
you know?
so
Yeah.
for now, I'd like to say that everybody, you're currently
Alright.
outside in the gardens, like just like just right out. It's you can still see the estate, I guess, like the palace rather, from here. And for now, at least, we are all kind of stood, in these lovely gardens, enjoying the weather, the fine weather, the smell of fresh flowers. Galena, or Countess Galena, is currently trying to dodge one of her suitors. In this case, Yakov Smirnov, who is
That's
been hunting for
me.
her most of the day.
How did
And
I end
he's-
up with two sleazy dudes? I thought the other guy, actually the other guy won't be sleazy. He'll just be in pain. This one's sleazy. Okay, I've got you. All right, this was exactly where I was
He's
at on the
been
page.
spending most of this party looking for her, as she has been carefully trying to dodge his attentions. And Galena is currently going over to Tokarev, actually, and trying to almost stand a little bit too close, as though they might be engaged in deep conversation. It's like, good sir, would you mind I have a slight problem, you see. Pretend to have said something funny and laugh.
I feel like I'm masturbating for a second. Who is standing next to Tokarev?
Galena.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Tokarev's just gonna look at Galena and think for probably a little bit longer than she might have liked. Mumbling just under his breath. Something funny, okay. I think that maybe I don't really know anything funny right now. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, you said pretend, yes?
Yes, it's
Oh, is it too late? Have I sort of missed
no,
things?
it's
Yakov
Oh,
Kurilovich is
that's
meanwhile
amazing.
winding his
Thank
way
you
through
for
the
telling me
garden.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, you are such
a shark.
wit from you.
Oh, I see.
What
Okay,
a
I see what you're
phenomenal
saying.
story you do tell.
I tell a good story about the sharks.
Yes, it's fantastic.
It's not a long story, but it's a good story.
Well, it is much appreciated. Berezovsky Katerina Makarovna, come over here. You must hear the story about the sharks. Come.
Yes, Ekaterina is plainly dressed for this party and feels very out of sorts, but Galena is her best friend. So she probably has like a fan or something and is just being very shy and demure as she walks over.
Very demure, very mindful.
I know, I can help it. She's like, "Oh, sharks! My uncle
Yes, good
Otto
sir,
probably
please,
will want to hear about this."
tell her your story about the sharks. It is delightful.
Yeah, so God, where do I start about this? So one day I was talking to this old sort of professor of mine, and they started going on about the different types of sharks you can find on the coastline. And there's a lot of interesting things about this because, and I'm not going to go into it because I can't, but I think it goes on for about 10 minutes about an actual story about sharks, which seems to very tangentially get back to the actual story, but is mostly anecdotes about this professor.
Galena is like almost laughing too hard and is like being a little bit too obvious that like her tone of mirth does not match the actual story in the slightest. But you also kind of see her like glancing kind of around Tokarev several times, like trying to make sure that she's not actually being followed at this point.
Well, upon seeing you engaged in conversation, Yakov Kirillovich is disappointed. Finally, having wound his way through the maze of conversations in the garden, and so bides his time for the next opportunity.
Glenn and Danny, what are you guys doing at the moment?
Oh, I am absolutely fussing over things. I am like I have like the fan, I have like an ostentatious dress on. Not inappropriate, but definitely a little bit like up there more than I should be. And I'm fussing over the food and I'm like watching all the servants and stuff.
And Glenn, what are you up to?
Roman is just enjoying the nice large glasses of wine while eating eggs and watching everybody mingle as he takes in all the gossip as he just walks casually along.
And what wonderful gossip has he been hearing?
Ooh, that Tokarov knows nothing about sharks. And he just really relies on a professor that he knows and reads about to make boring conversation.
I think Galena will also spot you walking kind of through the crowd, and it's like wave her hand. It's like, oh dear cousin, you must come over here.
I think the best part about that rumor
Okay.
is the fact that like Tokarev's story is not really like a good story that relates to sharks. It's just kind of about sharks generally.
He's just like info dumping.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so Glenn, you would probably notice that your cousin, Countess Galena, is trying to summon you over as well.
Yes, Roman will walk right on over while taking another like two sliced eggs along with him to just stuff in his mouth as he waves as he approaches.
Oh, how are the eggs? I haven't had a chance to try any yet. Asking, of course, while his mouth is stuffed full of eggs.
Very, very good. Like, your servants do such a fine job at making cooked and boiled eggs.
Oh, that reminds me. Where is our hostess? I have not seen her at all this. Well, I mean, other than when I came in, but I haven't seen her in some time. Where might she be?
By the champagne, and I am just like I'm like flustered. I'm like red in the face. I'm like warm. I'm like fanning myself and just drinking champagne and just kind of 1,000 yards staring at the eggs on the table.
Is this Anastasia Ilyinichna Kholodova?
No, this is Magdalena.
Okay, Magdalena. Okay.
So it's Anastasia's house, but Magdalena is the one that's actually put on this whole event.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Okay.
But of course, you're more than welcome to try to interact with the homeowner too, if you would like. So yeah, so what is Constantine up to at this point?
Yeah, Constantine. Well, his two problems are Ilya Sophia Durchdenwald, which I put in that last time, that maybe that is how we were related. because we said we were related, right? And she is my sister, and she is a actress and is a constant source of shame and problem for me as I try to salvage what I can. So I imagine they're both here, Yulia, and also my uncle Roman, who is sort of the family elder. And I'm suspicious of them both. But then I see my friend Roman. The one exception in the world I have to set my cares aside, as I don't find Roman to be a threat to my family right now. So I see Roman with his eggs, and as I am winding my way through the crowd, most people ignoring me in my very outdated dress and hat. Suit and hat that is out of date. I see Roman. Roman. If my whatever the contraction for Roman is. What is that? Let's see.
Do I remember as well? It's
I don't know. Roman. What is it here? I got it up here somewhere.
it's written down. Roma.
I reach out my arms, to Roma when I see him. Where's Roman headed right now? He said he's got eggs.
He's standing with Countess Galina, his cousin, who is also talking with Baroness Yekaterina, her best friend, and Tokarev, who neither of them know particularly well, but he is currently very convenient.
Well, I see this as an opportunity to drop a name right in front of Countess Galina at the estate.
Okay.
And so I stride up to Roman, and I call him Roma, and I embrace him, and I kiss him on each cheek.
Is this a friend of yours, dear cousin?
Why, of course, he's the bestest of friends. Come, we're just about to hear Tokarov talk about his sharks again.
Sharks? This is thrilling. I've never seen a shark. I lie.
I mean, if you prefer, I have other stories.
Everybody's on about the sharks now, and the poor guy is like stuck on
the story about the sharks.
No, please tell us about the. I've never seen a shark. I would love to know more.
Is my Uncle Otto here, by the way?
He certainly can be.
I feel like he would just pop up at an opportune moment of sharks, you say. And he already has shark teeth. It's just one of the many things he collects.
That guy,
yeah.
He's the guy you don't even see enter. He just comes out from behind a tree.
Yeah, he's this he's an old bachelor. He's never had to worry about niceties in his life, and he has the money to back it up. And so he's a really nice guy though. So he's just oh, you mean this? And he literally has an example of what Tokarev is talking about.
Pulls out live shark.
And live shark, yeah. This little rotund old man talking about, I wrestled a shark back in the day.
So he joins honor and confidence that you absolutely believe because it's way too funny not to.
Right? It's I'm pretty sure he's not lying.
So what is it like wrestling a shark? I've never actually seen that. I've never seen a shark either, for that matter.
We're all locked in this terribly painful conversation now, everyone.
So Glenn, so since you have Otto, then now you can control what Otto is saying about this wrestling a shark.
Oh yes, Otto just comes walking in. How did you describe Otto, since he's your uncle?
I feel like, I'm kind of getting Benjamin Franklin vibes, balding, glasses, but he still has this weird suavishness to him. How Benjamin Franklin got all the ladies, for some reason. I feel like he has that vibe, but he doesn't use it. He's just a really weird, interesting old man. Does that make sense? I don't know. He's just a weird old bachelor.
He uses it to trap people into random conversations about topics they probably don't care about, but is interesting nonetheless, and they find themselves stuck there for 3 hours without realizing.
Yes, you know what? he's the embodiment of the 3-hour YouTube video that you weren't planning on watching, but you just can't help but finish it. That's who he is.
Yeah, that's true. The 3-hour video essay on every single Barbie movie and ranking them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
I watched that.
That's totally him.
Mm-hmm.
I can picture that now. Like, yeah, so he walks up in his best out-of-date attire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, niece, what are you and your friends talking about here?
Well, you see, this good. What is your name, good sir? I do apologize. That's most inappropriate of me.
Oh, I'm Otto.
No, I'm talking. This is to
I'm
talk
the uncle
Oh,
of.
I thought for a second you were talking about
Oh.
me, but I wasn't quite
Yeah.
sure. Tokarev is my name.
Do I notice the crowd now?
Most likely, yes. There's a very large crowd that's gathered, and you probably also notice that Yulia Sofia, who is married into your family, is also present in this crowd.
Okay, so I'm gonna like calmly just walk across the garden, kind of in that direction, but like not trying to like get into the conversation, just trying to be like, okay, is everybody okay? Is there anybody down? Like, did somebody faint?
Oh, can I? No, never mind. Sorry.
Did you want to faint? I really thought that's what you were going to say.
Swooning dramatically over a shark.
Trying to get out of this conversation.
My main does not want out of this conversation. This is the
Oh,
chance.
okay.
This is the chance for him to try to gain the attentions of the Baroness and the hostess. That is his goal.
And
Yeah.
actually, for a moment, your sister Yulia Sofia, she notices that a member of her new family is coming towards her and breaks away for a moment to go grab Magdalena and drag her rather forcibly into the conversation.
Is everything okay?
Oh yes, we're just about ready to hear this. What I understand is some story about a shark.
Again, story about sharks, told to me by Professor. Honestly, it's mostly about the Professor. He's kind of a weird dude, but like he's a nice guy. And it's good to see you again, by the way, Baron. It's good to see you.
I don't know who you're talking
That's Otto, the uncle. Who is a Baron.
Oh.
Yes, Otto will speak up and he says, "Oh, yes, it's good to see you too. Which professor are you talking about? Is it Professor Nikolai and his fascination with sharks?
I believe it is not him, but
he's
his
never
son.
seen a shark before.
No, not him, but his son.
Dmitri?
Yes.
We don't even get the sharks. We don't even get the sharks. Actually, it's just. Oh no!
As I said, it tangentially gets back to the shark tale.
This?
Let me find one.
Otto will pull out some random large bone out of his pocket. Well, it's a bone the size of his hand that he had stuck in his pocket, just in case he needed a get out of conversation free card here. It's like,
and what
he's
is this
told me that this is the
thing of your
bone
collection?
of a. Yes, Dmitri found it out in the water, and he said that this is part of a giant shark that he wrestled onto shore. But I don't believe him.
And
but it's fascinating
what part of the
nonetheless.
shark is this from?
He said that it's part of the fin.
How quaint! That thing is monstrous.
Very fascinating indeed. And he'll just put it back in his pocket. He'll take his bow and says, "Excuse me, I must go fetch some of those eggs that what's your name? Oh, yes, Roman. That Roman over here was talking about."
Would you mind grabbing a plate for me as
Hata
well,
will just,
Baron Morozov? I have been quite
of
peckish and
course.
would love to try some of these.
Magdalena holds up her finger, like holds up her hand and like snaps.
And
And
servants do come rushing at your beck and call.
yeah, I'm like, please, refreshments for everybody here.
No conversational escape.
Good luck with that one.
Roman, or I'm sorry, I'd say Roma. Could you introduce me to your friends and family? I'm excited to finally get to meet them. This is Konstantin Denisovich. To Roman.
Why, of course.
And he
In the
looks
bluntest
at
way possible.
Go ahead.
He says, "Of course, Constantine." And in the bluntest way possible, he'll just start pointing fingers at everybody, and he says, "Well, that is my cousin, Countess Galina. That one over there, that's Tokarov. This one over here is I didn't quite catch your name.
Who is his last name?
Anastasia. Yes, how could I ever forget Anastasia? As the
Anastasia's not in this
Yeah,
conversation.
Anastasia is not in the conversation right now.
Well, that's okay. Like, as you kind of canvas the people in the conversation, Konstantin very quickly sees the Countess, but also Tokarov Vladislavovich, and how well dressed he is, and how well composed, and says, Tokarov Vladislavovich, it's so nice to meet you. Is your family from Saint Petersburg? And reaches to embrace his hand. Now, Konstantin is out of place, has a foreign accent, and looks kind of like a bum in comparison to you and everyone else here. It's clear that he is not as well-to-do, especially as you, Tokarov.
He'll return the handshake and shake his head. No, my family's not from St. Petersburg. It has been quite a number of years since I've been back here.
I see. I'm not from here myself, but my family is in the area. I'm sure you have probably heard of my sister, the lady Ilya Sofia Durchdenwald.
She curtsies politely.
Oh, she's here. Okay.
Yeah, she is part of this conversation. She was the one that dragged Magdalena into this.
Into all of this. I introduced her then, of course, to everybody. Yeah.
What is the relation between them and Magdalena? The charger says relation.
I just made that up. I figured she married.
So Yulia Sophia has married into the Durchdenwald family. So they're so that would make
We're just like once
one of
removed
the brothers-in-law of the family.
Well,
yeah.
Do they use for Western Russians? I apologize for any Russians out there that see this. Muscovites, is it like that kind of or would I just say Western Russians, or what would you, of people in the heart of the empire, what would you call those people? I don't know. Western Russians, I'll say for now. Anyways, he says,
I think for the purposes of this, kind of Eastern Russia might as well not exist.
Yeah.
yeah, well,
I think Muscovite is specifically for people from Moscow.
okay,
So
okay.
yeah, just generally Western Russians.
Okay, well, then I'll say that. So it seems that many of us are not from Western Russia then. And I say this to sorry, I have to kind of flip back around between these character sheets. To Tokarov. And I say, Tokarov, so where is your family from? What is family business? I'm interested.
Most recently the railways, but for the record, I didn't actually know you had any sort of connection to the Dr. Malls.
Oh, wait, what was the last thing that you said?
That he wasn't aware that you had any connection to Magdalena's family.
That's right. My sister, my little sister, she married a cousin of Magdalena. I'm sorry, I should say Lady Durchdenwald. And railways. Well, that's interesting. You know, I think there's a lot of opportunities for rail opening up south of here.
Yes, it's been a interesting sort of venture. It's not something that really draws my own eye, but it's my father's business.
I see. What does draw your eye, Tokarov Vladislaevich? Do I see his eye looking toward
Lately,
anything?
I'm just kind of here to find out. His eyes kind of don't really go anywhere to anyone in particular. It's just straight answer. He's here to find out.
An adventure and opportunity, then. Well,
So you'll find much adventure in Saint Petersburg, I can assure you. And that's from
I found
Countess
much
Galina.
adventure here as a kid. Yeah.
Oh, you grew up here.
Yes, for a time. I sent to boarding school here.
Oh, in a way, this must be a welcome home then for you.
Yeah, is same city. 10 years later, but same city.
And how much do you think it has changed?
Probably more than I think. But on the surface, it's kind of the same. The bakery I used to frequent still exists. I like that.
That's good. And Lady Durchdenwald, what do you make of our fair city?
Well, and she'll just like start fanning herself, and she like turns like a deep shade of red. And she's just like, "Oh, it's warm right now, but honestly, it's been very welcoming, and I don't know what I'd do if I didn't move here, at least. It's a beautiful city, though."
Yes, and of
actually know
course,
if it's
we're very
beautiful.
glad for you to be hosting such a lovely event.
Yes, it's my first time hosting such an event, and I'm very pleased to have such esteemed guests among us.
Well, we are certainly glad to be here. Isn't that right, Baroness Yekaterina Makarovna?
Just to throw a little bit more drama into this, I'm thinking that she's spacing out and she's like looking at someone that's just entered the party late. Would this be an
Ooh.
example of us playing a token to get this to happen? Or is it
Not really, because it could be any one of, like, let's say, the connection characters that haven't been mentioned yet.
Okay, I'm gonna say that her old flame has just walked in.
oh
And
no!
and that's like, so she's very much distracted. She's like, it can't be, right? So she does not answer you right away. She's like,
Katya,
yes. What was the question?
are we not, pleased to, that our esteemed hostess, Lady Durchdenwald, is invited us all here?
Yes, there's it's so much more. She's like really scrambling for words. When I was in the country, we didn't. There's such a variety of people here. Do you know all these people? And she's like subtly looking like in the direction of the newcomers.
I believe I recognize most of them, actually. But not all of them. But you know how it is. It's with everything going on, and the weather. We've had more people coming into the city than usual.
Yes, it seems like some young men are back from the front. So
I did
soon.
notice that in their good uniforms.
Yes. And she just like starts fanning herself.
Has it
Actually, could I have some of that? And she points to whatever Magdalena is drinking.
Oh, certainly, of course. And she'll just snap her fingers again.
This time they do bring out more plates and refreshment, and like they do actually bring out all the plates and refreshments for everybody. So we can now all have our pick from the servants, and at least Countess Galina is gladly taking some of the eggs, and Yulia Sophia is kind of digging into the cured meats. And also happily like kind of grabs like a glass of champagne as the servant is passing by.
Yeah, Katerina is like the picture of ladylikeness, but she's just like dropping back champagne like it's like a shot. She's like taking like a second one real quick.
Constantine quietly admonishes Yulia to maintain her composure and to eat lightly in this company.
I haven't
Hogrip's
had
looking
such fine
amused.
food in it feels like years.
Well, I'm sure that we can find food outside this estate. We're not starving, and then I look at her, yet.
She kind of just demurely steps back and like it's like, all right, eats a little bit more slowly and a little bit more daintily.
At this point, though, I hear, even worse, I hear Roman, a different Roman, I apologize, Roman Mikhailovich, laughing loudly. And so Constantine says, I'm so sorry, please excuse me. This is a riveting story, and we just have food, but I need to go speak with my uncle. It is so wonderful to meet you all. He bows, leaves.
All right, be good. So what is Constantine's uncle doing that is causing him to be laughing and speaking so loudly?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that is the good question. What trouble is he up to?
100%. I think he's just watching and vaguely listening and hearing anything that can just kind of sound like it's fraying the entire conversation apart. So I think he's seen the interaction of, hey, we have food. You don't need to be eating this much at a party where I'm going to be honest, vast amounts of food is probably still a show of wealth. Is that still a thing people did?
Yep.
So, like, eating well is not an unreasonable thing to do in this environment.
You say that out loud?
No, he's just fucking belly laughing.
Okay. I I come over to Roman.
There are no simple instructions.
I come over to Roman and I say, uncle. I use whatever affectionate, term, like the Georgian term, for uncle, whatever that is. It took a great deal of effort and some sum of wealth for us to gain this invitation. do you suppose that you could join the conversation and help build some of what we're here to do? I just spoke with a young man. I'm sorry, no, he's not young. Oof, he's ancient, 28, old man. I just spoke with a Mr. Tokarov Vladislavovich.
Vladislavovich.
It's the second V that gets
Yeah.
me. Vladislavovich. Then I added a third. Anyways, I just spoke with this man whose family lays rail across the empire. Why are you here eating all of the food of dear Anastasia's estate when you could be joining the conversation and helping me? This is done quietly and to the side.
I've been listening to your conversations. Trust me, if I find anything that I think I can join in on, I will definitely do so. But until that point, I see no reason in refusing our hosts' delightful hospitality and refusing their food.
Constantine
We're here
breathes.
for a nice time. We will join in.
We are not here for a nice time, dear uncle. That is not what we are
Actually,
here
you know
for
what?
at
You know
all.
what? You're correct. I haven't gotten into the drink yet. I'm not here quite for a good time just yet. But I will join the conversation as you ask, nephew.
Thank you.
Okay. But
I'll
do just maybe like lay off the food thing. There's a lot of food. It's fine.
I smile and
Now, if I get too heavy into the drink, please stop me if I get too heavy into the drink. But I haven't drunk yet. It's okay.
I'm sure we'll talk, uncle. Please, if you could join us, and you know, and I look for other people also to talk to, you know, and not just the circle around Magdalena and Countess Galina.
Roman, the uncle, will pick a direction and walk in it.
So this time, I'm actually going to spend one of the resolve tokens as the facilitator, and you hear kind of up by the house there is this this very ornate gong that has apparently come from Asia, much further east, that is currently being rung, and the sound of this gong reverberates throughout the entire gardens.
All I can think is why would you want to buy a rare Cambodian gong? Because they can.
Yeah. And you can hear that, you know, it's like one of the servants is announcing quite loudly, or about as loud as he's able to, that the owner of the estate, Anastasia Ilyinichna, these are really hard.
Are we regretting studying this in the Russian Empire? Is this the beginning of the end? Is what this is?
Has would like everybody to gather in her art gallery as she unveils a new piece, and she is summoning everyone that's been standing out in the gardens to come and look.
Wonderful. I will collect my sister.
Okay, so let's see, Katie. So Anne-Marie, what has she been doing all this time?
Yeah, and quick question. Do you have like a particular personality for her? Like, is she like a mirror of Magdalena, or like an opposite, or
definitely opposite?
Opposite? Okay, so
yeah, Magdalena's like in love with art, and like she loves colors, she loves the parties, she loves everything, and Anne-Marie's just like no way.
It's gonna be like a little bit like a Martha and Mary situation. Like maybe she's okay. I imagine she's been like kind of like
wallflowering hard.
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe wallflowering, and I was even like picking up. Tell me if I'm wrong. Like maybe she's like going around and like subtly like making sure things are clean, and the vase is like just so. And like I saw you do that. I'm putting that back in its place now. That kind of thing, like being really fussy, or is it more like no? She's just very shy, wallflower.
Yeah, she's trying to help her sister. She's trying to help her sister make this successful. So she would definitely be trying to because Magdalena knows her sister is one of the types of people who kind of likes to stay in the background. So she's trying to take all of the attention for Anne-Marie's sake.
Oh, okay.
Is Anne-Marie more of like a supportive, but in definitely not a quite so helpful way?
Yes.
So trying to be helpful. Okay, yeah, she's like definitely like you said, like sticking to the wall. Probably like was even fussing with like a flower arrangement when you found her, like trying to do something that looks like she's busy with something, but it's actually just kind of awkward because it's like there's no reason for you to be arranging the flower vase right now. So she's probably relieved when you come to go get her, I imagine. So she's like, "Oh, are we wrapping up now?"
No. Anna,
Oh.
we're going inside now.
Oh.
This party's
Okay.
only been 4 hours. We have another 10 to go.
Of course. Lovely.
She'll like link arms with her sister and she'll just like fuss over her and she'll just be like, "Oh, did you eat anything? Have you been fussing with that vase all day?"
Well, I just, and she notices she still has like the flower in her hand and she like drops it. But she's visibly relaxed, I imagine, as she's with her sister. She's like, "Oh, finally, the person who gets me."
Yeah. They're identical.
Oh.
It's you can only tell them apart by what they're wearing right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't explain this. I really can't. I imagine Anne-Marie as the goth version for no applicable reason other than polar opposite.
I was picking up on that too. I was like, I almost want to play this like early, like pre-goth goth.
Goth before goth was cool.
Right?
She thinks morning clothes are day clothes. Just dressed all in black with a veil.
No, that would be inappropriate and Magdalena would never let that happen.
I have some game questions.
Yes.
Okay. Who activates a connection? Is it the main character, and then you say, "Hey, I want to speak with this connection"? How does that work? And during the
pretty much. If you're
makes
interested in speaking to a connection, you just kind of announce that this is who you're going up
the
to.
major character, right?
Yeah, or
Right.
if somebody just really wants to has a connection that they're playing and they really want that character to jump into an existing scene, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, if
So
it
like
makes
if
sense.
you
Okay.
have so I know you've got Yakov and Ivan. So like if either one of them suddenly decided to try to like barge into this group conversation,
Right. If it made
then
sense.
So
my other question would be: I see that the connections have resolve tokens. Are those?
Yes.
Is that used
So
by?
they're used in the same way. So like each character has resolve tokens, and so they can also do things that will influence the story.
Okay.
And these would be things that are like unexpected.
Okay. And
So
then
this would be like, let's say you wanted to let's say that somebody it's or let's say that Yvonne wanted to throw champagne on like Anya Katerina or something to get her attention. That would probably take a resolve token.
Okay. And then my last question is, when do those resolve tokens happen from the connection? And when do monologue tokens happen? Like when do you say, I want to use a monologue token?
Monologue tokens can happen at any time during the novel phase.
Okay.
So anytime that this maybe something's happening, you're just curious what a particular character is thinking. Resolve tokens from the connection, anytime that particular character would want to do something or would be involved in something that might alter the story.
And that's true of the connections the same
Yes.
way. Interesting. Yep. Okay. Then I want to know what this art piece is, and then I think I have an idea for where a monologue might go for someone. I want to throw down my monologue. What's the art piece? It's killing me.
So I'm assuming that everybody's gathering in the art gallery and is quite excited. And
wait, what are the other art pieces? Like, what kind of stuff? Like, are we talking fine art, or are these collections? You said there's like an Asian gong, so is this like esoteric stuff from around the world? What is this?
Anastasia has quite the collection of art pieces. They seem to be coming from all over the world is the interesting part of it. So you see things that you really haven't seen, like, you almost see things like that of like sort of like a thatch headdress that's, is apparently, kind of like these like wooden, like almost like horrific looking face that's apparently come from Africa. You're seeing kind of more traditional, French and, Italian style paintings. She has kind of things that are like clearly more like, let's say, like even more like from Eastern Russia, like it's again kind of very like northern, like or Central Asian inspired. She has somehow acquired this this sword that's, it's kind of this rusted iron sword that she said that came from the Rurik people, so the Swedes basically when they came first into Russia, and it's
Wow.
this huge eclectic mix of art.
Cool.
And she is standing very proudly in front of this very large kind of shrouded. It looks like it should be a painting, at least is what just kind of based on the size and the way that it's kind of been positioned. You would think that this is a painting. And she's, very, looks kind of standing up there, like very proudly. And she's like this almost kind of middle-aged, like matronly type woman. Her husband is nowhere in sight though. And she's, she kind of waits for everybody to gather around to come watch. And she unveils, finally, instructs one of her servants to unveil the painting. And it comes down, and you see this beautiful landscape of kind of the or like of the Italian countryside that she has apparently gotten from as she's this seems to be from like a Renaissance style painting, and she is saying that it was painted by Raphael. Whether or not anybody can verify that one is not currently maybe up for some debate, but at the moment, she seems quite genuine about it. And she is, happily describing this as a very one-of-a-kind painting. She had it imported all the way from from Naples in Italy, where she had purchased it from on one of her grand tours of Europe, mostly avoiding the spots where the war was happening as much as she could. And
For
but
those
there,
art nerds, is this a legitimate painting? Do you have that prepared? Because I want to
this is
talk about it.
This is so out of character. This is not a legitimate painting. She does not know that.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
I blame Napoleon.
but anyone who she invites everybody to come up and take a look and admire her lovely painting, which she is very fond of. And so you, Magdalena, might notice a few things about this if you're coming up and taking a look.
She absolutely is.
You notice that it doesn't particularly look like Raphael's style, at least from what you've kind of probably heard or seen of his paintings. And this doesn't really seem like his usual subject either. He seemed to do, he certainly did some big scene, kind of very large, like scenes, that had lovely backgrounds, but he wasn't really a landscape artist. As he liked doing people more and portraits mostly.
I'm
So, yeah.
just picturing Magdalene pulling out a fucking like jeweler's loop and starting inspecting.
She would never.
Publicly.
Publicly, yeah. She would keep her composure because she knows, and she will make a mental note to talk to Anastasia about that later. And she gets excited and she just goes and stands by her favorite painting
Okay. What does her favorite painting look like?
Her favorite painting is Abbey in the Oakwood by Caspar David Friedrich.
Okay.
Friedrich, I guess. It looks like this. And she's just gonna like admire it kind of to help calm herself. She's worried about Anastasia's credentials right now.
So what is everybody else doing since they've been all summoned in for this?
Can I
I'm standing in the corner.
can I have the cat this be the moment Roman Mikhailovich perhaps makes his scene that is perhaps inevitable after a few drinks?
Ooh, yes.
Not
yes, the
not
drunken
your
man.
Roman. Sorry, this
Other
is
Roman.
Roman Mikhailovich,
Too many
played by
Romans.
the cat.
A multitude of Romans.
Although that I could
No,
use
Roman M.
Roman M. That's right of the cat.
Perhaps both of them.
Well,
Both Romans.
Here's-
Suddenly fist fight in the corner.
here's my, go ahead. Okay. Yeah,
Yes, no, go.
my proposal is that this is the moment that he not only gets loud, but does spill his drink, in fact. And I would use a token if, I don't know, maybe this doesn't warrant a resolve token. I think it does, though. Because on behalf of Ivan Rublevich Gusev, who he is speaking to, Roman, and dumps his drink entirely on the front of Vanya's suit and ruins it.
Yep, yeah, this would definitely be a place to use a resolve token.
So I think this would be Vanya's, one of his resolve tokens. And
so this would be whoever's doing it. So in this case, it would probably be Roman's.
oh, my bad. Okay.
Yep.
And yeah, this is that okay, Thicket?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just looking.
Okay, so Vanya, who also has kind of been in the shadows and out of place, that you you know, just kind of saw Katerina. Now you see him again. His suit is doused, and immediately, what's his name? There's kind of a scene. It's got Roman, Constantine. There's a fuss.
Oh, Yanya! Fuck, that's why I was trying to see anyone whose name began with a V.
And
Ivan.
Ivan, you realize Vanya will have to leave the party, and but he sees you. So I don't know if he saw. Do you think he saw you the first time, or did you just see
definitely.
him? Oh wow. Okay. Well,
yeah, I have a feeling. Well, and also, I am totally fine with you like improvising and going with your gut. I put a little blurb while we were playing on how I think he would be played, but I definitely think he's somebody who's going to try to play it cool. They both do, of like, that's kind of what's going on. The unspoken eye choreography.
Yeah. Yeah, and before anything could come of this, his suit is ruined, and he is generously escorted, to where he can clean.
Anastasia kind of snaps her fingers seeing this, and sends some of her servants. It's like, go help him. It's I will have a word with the offender in this case.
Oh no. Yeah.
And Roman, who is standing exactly where he was when he spilled the drink, just kind of chuckling to himself, is like, I hope this is not going to cause me problems, but I suspect that this is going to cause me problems. And he starts drinking more. Learning from no mistakes. Just unhappy accidents.
Yeah, I feel like Ekaterina would look both relieved and disappointed.
Mr. Vasilyev, a word if I may.
Yes, yes, a word.
I believe
Many
you've gone
words,
a
in
little
fact.
bit too far into your drink. And I would beg politely that you take your leave at this moment.
Yeah, I see what this happened. My nephew is meant to stop me from drinking too much. I asked him some, but
Where is your nephew?
I
A whole 20 feet
he just
away.
kind of like he gestures in completely the wrong direction. Just kind of like waving somewhere. I suppose he's probably looking at your painting, but
And I apologize. Who is...
I
Who,
I will do as you ask. I will leave. I will leave.
If you
Thank you
cannot
for
do it
having my
by yourself,
attendance.
then I will ask one of my servants to escort you from the premise.
I know I can find the door. Yes, I'm not I'm not that drunk yet. I can find the door. We'll see if I find my way home or into a new bar. We'll find out.
You
Uh,
did come by carriage, am I mistaken?
yes.
Well, in that case, do find your driver.
I we'll see if I can. I don't think I could find my feet right now. Okay.
She snaps her fingers again and instructs one of her servants to escort very firmly Roman from the
He's been
property.
like finishing his drink in the middle of this conversation, just mid sentence. Just okay. I'll leave now. It's okay. It's I'll leave. I don't want to be trouble for you. I get it. I understand.
Now, question for you, Thekit.
Yes.
Do you think, and also probably you, Ross, as well, it's since this is your connection, would Roman leave the party and strand his nephew?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and niece.
I think that his general attitude towards his nephew is like I very much respect my nephew, but also I'm not a great person. So I think he would absolutely try to save his nephew the embarrassment of dealing with him later and leaving. But I think he does not get the driver. I think he chooses to walk.
Okay.
So, yeah. Or sorry, drunkenly stumble is probably the better term.
Yeah, the reason that I was asking you is because had you decided to go with your driver and like completely just like abandon your nephew like with no way to get home, that definitely would have been a resolve token. So I just kind of given another example of like kind of situations where like story relevant situations where you'd want to use a resolve token.
The blood drains from Constantine's face, and he becomes one of, it seems, the cast of shadows in this party. You know, who else? Like Tokarov and like Vanya and others. As the hopes of trying to gain the attentions of Countess Galina or Tokarov seems lost.
Galina, of course, has also seen kind of this whole thing go down and goes over to her friend Katya. It's like, Katya, was that Ivan Rublevich that I just saw being walked out? What is he doing here? I didn't think he was in St. Petersburg.
have no idea. I thought he'd been stationed at the front, but that was just a rumor. So
Apparently, he's no longer stationed there. That does seem a bit concerning.
Yes, I wanted to ask Magdalena or Anastasia how they would know him. The last time I heard from him, he was, and she's like having a flashback. Like, he did not keep the best company, so the whole thing is very mysterious to her. But she's still visibly shaken. I'm almost wondering if I should. Ooh, should I do this? No, I'll wait. Yeah. She's like quietly looking for another drink, which she like never drinks, by the way. I know she's Russian, but still, like, this is not her like usual go-to. But she's like searching for another, like, she sees like a servant, and she's like subtly being like, yeah, I'll take that cup, thank you.
Okay, so I am going to spend a monologue token. And Baroness Ekaterina, how do you feel about your old flame who has returned from the front and has now showed up at this party?
Ooh, so now I feel like I should have given a. Let me give like the brief breakdown of her character, because I realize that might have helped like the context as well. So I think we said this last time, but if anybody's ever read or seen Jane Austen's Persuasion, Ekaterina is basically the Russian version of the main heroine of that, which basically she's 27 years old, which in this society is, leaning towards old maid status, right? But she was engaged 5 years ago to Ivan. He's 2 years younger than her. He's of illegitimate birth, but comes from a nice family. So there was a lot of, her father basically didn't like it, and he didn't trust the guy. So she was encouraged not to go forward, and she's regretted it ever since. She actually came to Saint Petersburg because her father's passed away. Her brother's on the front. She's basically at the mercy of, the males in her family. And she's actually been making up her mind to go into a monastery and just dedicate her life to the church. She's very devout. So she was resolving herself to where she was at. She's basically somebody who wants to suppress her desires. So as far as monologuing, I guess I need to put that in her own words, right? When we do a monologue.
Yeah. So what are her thoughts about this?
Is she just gonna suppress the whole time? So I should just go with the first thing I'm thinking of. I think she's like internally. This is like a prayer, right? She's like, Lord, I thought, I was supposed to put this behind me. I'm very confused. Is this a temptation from the devil? Like, she's taking this in a very like religious route, right? Of she doesn't know what to think because she was very influenced by her father. Like she still has feelings for this guy, obviously, but she doesn't know if she can trust him. So she's kind of like turning this into a petition of like, Lord, give me strength, help me to, not fall for the wrong thing. Give me control, you know what I mean? So she's like putting on this mask, right? Of like, I'm not going to let my guard down this time. I'm going to stay strong. And it was probably for the best. Now she's like coping. She's like, it's probably for the best. Like, I probably, thank you for saving me from having to talk to this guy. I didn't want to talk to him anyway, So she's just full on cope mode of like, yeah, I don't want to talk to him. It's fine.
Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes.
When it comes to the rumors, are they things we know already, or are they things to spread later?
So some of the rumors are things that people may have heard, but eventually we will end up, coming up with more rumors, and we'll be able to spread them as well. So spreading the
Oh,
rumors
so
basically
I
makes it.
specifically mean the
Yeah.
ones we already have.
So these certainly, your character can't have heard of them. They can also have. It's also possible to, you haven't heard all the rumors yet. But even if you've heard them, you may not be totally sure if they're true.
Fair enough.
Yeah, thank you, Katie, for giving us our first monologue.
Thank you. I'll try to make it more monologue-y next time.
Question, Liz.
Yes.
Would Antonia?
Yeah.
Antonia? Would she still be on like good terms with Galena?
So they don't currently like each other.
Okay, I just wanted to double
Yeah, they
check.
are former friends. They used to be great childhood friends, but but basically what happened is she was engaged to Galena's brother. And then but that was called off because she went and turned out to be pregnant like with an illegitimate child, and they have no longer spoken to each other.
Got it.
But she's also quite the gossip, and being a very famous singer, it's certainly gives her plenty of opportunities for that. But yeah, so she's upset with Countess Galena for basically her family didn't like kind of invite her into her home and take care of her when she was at her lowest because of the illegitimate child.
Okay. Then I
And
will
that's their
not
history.
do that.
Wait, what?
I was gonna come up and be like, "Oh, did you see that?" But I'm not gonna do that if they're not friends. So.
Yeah. Former friends.
Oh.
But yeah, she can also certainly be here at this big event that everybody who is somebody or not quite somebody has been invited to.
I also had a question because I don't know if we went over it. Are we using the inner conflict in this game? Like, if we...
Yes, we are. So these are typically made. These would be made probably after this session, just to give everybody a chance to like feel around for their characters. So I'll go over that in a little bit once kind of probably a little bit after 10 o'clock, depending on how things are going. So yes, so kind of cutting back, Countess Galena is going to kind of lean over to Katya's like, well, should we ask our hostess, see how she is come to hear of Ivan Rublevich's return?
She's like composing herself now. Yes, because I wonder maybe there's news from my brother, since her brother's on the war front. So, yes, I'm curious why we are seeing so many of these young men returning from the wars. Perhaps things are finally turning around for Russia.
Oh, I do hope so.
Mm.
And then she'll go over actually to Magdalena and kind of grasp Katya's hand and kind of help lead her over to where Magdalena is standing. Lady Durchdenwald, it's I had a question regarding the guest list for today. Did you come up with it?
I must admit I did not. Anastasia handled that.
It's thank you. There's been some interesting company today, and it's well, it's kept things exciting.
Definitely, yeah. She's like nervous, like her face is turning red again, and she's just like, it's the first time I'm meeting many of these people, including, including this would be the first time they've met, right?
Yes, most likely.
Including you, Countess.
Well, do let me know if you need any introduction. I do recognize most of the people here.
Oh, I think I'm okay for now. I just, is it warm in here?
I gotta have a monologue token from Magdalena. I got, what is going on? I gotta know what's going on.
Is riddled with anxiety.
Why? What happened? What is she hiding?
She's not hiding anything. She's just so, like, now that she's seen the painting, because Anastasia wouldn't let her see the painting before the party. Now that she knows that the painting is definitely not real, she is nervous and hoping nobody else notices. And she's also, like, looking around the room, looking for any familiar face other than her sister. Her eyes kind of settle on Tokarev for like a second, and then she's clocking where everybody is. And then she's also just really anxious about meeting such influential people. She's not sure how to conduct herself. She's fairly new to Russian society, I guess. Things were a lot different back home. And she's hoping she makes a good first impression.
Oh, quick question then. Then since Anne-Marie and her are opposites, could Anne-Marie, instead of her also being anxious, do you just want to make her like openly like, no, I'm not into talking to people, but I'm not shy about it? Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm picturing, if you guys have ever seen Parks and Rec, like April from that show.
Yeah, she's kind of like April. She's just like, I don't care.
Okay. That actually helps me with playing her. Is Anne-Marie aware? By the way, are you still doing the Notice Me Senpai thing with Tokarev, or has that changed?
Nope. Notice Me Senpai is still there.
Okay. And I'm assuming Anne-Marie knows about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I would like to play one of Anne-Marie's tokens, because I imagine she would probably enjoy trying to set up her and Tokarev together just a little bit. Especially since, maybe to distract from the painting situation. How would she do that, though? I'm trying to think. What is a good idea? I will take ideas. Anne-Marie would...
For what it's worth, Tokarev has looked at the painting. He has not gone close to the painting. He is not an art person. So he's just kind of a little bit off from probably where the bulk of people are. Just kind of doing his own thing.
Yeah, Magdalena's like on the other side of the room from where Tokarev is, just staring at a particular painting until Galina and Ekaterina showed up.
And
now she looks like she's like backed into a corner. She's like back against the wall. She's just kind of like, she's just like, holy shit, holy shit.
She's
like, oh my god, I'm gonna. She's like, she looks like she's gonna faint.
Oh, then shoot, and you guys are like mentor-mentee. So what is he mentoring you in exactly?
Russian.
Oh,
he's teaching me how to speak Russian.
I think Anne-Marie, probably I'm making this overcomplicated. I think Anne-Marie's just gonna like kind of come out of her shadow that she's been like observing people from, goes up to Tokarev and wants to kind of help out, her twin, by saying, Magdalena had a question and my Russian's even worse than hers. She's needing help translating something with that painting over there. Could you help her out?
Oh, she's having issues translating. I think she's pretty proficient. I don't really know what that issue could be, but sure, I'll wander over there and see what I can do. Thank you for telling me.
And she like slinks back into the shadows and watches with glee to see what happens
I
next.
see her leave, but I don't know where she goes.
How does she do that?
She just appears from the shadows.
Taro just kind of meanders his way over to Magdalena. Excuse me, can I borrow you for a moment?
Her face is bright red now. Yeah. sorry. Yeah, of course. Pardon me, Countess and Baroness.
My apologies, Countess.
She's like, she's just like, she's just like, I will be back. If you would still like to talk, of course. But
I think we'll find Anastasia. What? I can remember people's names.
You're the one that came
Ilyinichna.
up with it.
I know. This is entirely my fault. I can still have regrets about my own naming.
Yeah, and she'll be like, oh, of course. And if you need anything, just let me know.
I appreciate it greatly. Yeah, that's certainly Magdalena and Tokarev can wander off.
Yeah, we'll move a little bit away. Your sister said that you have a question for me. Something about translating some work.
Deer in headlights. For like a fraction of a second, and then she's like, I was... Yeah.
Anne Marie like comes out of the shadows and starts like miming something of like trying to give you an idea, like in like twin language. Like, ask about the thing, you know, the thing.
Part of me legitimately hoped you were just gonna like pop out of the shadows, just be there with like this massive shit-eating grin with like 2 thumbs up, just yeah.
I mean, she's probably doing that too.
She will fan herself first. She's just gonna like look at her sister and just be like, what are you talking about?
Was I mistaken? Was she mistaken?
No, could you and then she'll just like point to a random painting. She's like, I'm not sure about the the pronunciation of this. And she'll look at her sister and give her a look like, what the fuck?
What era was Pushkin, the poet? Was he around this era or was he before or after?
Give me 1 second.
Because it could be like, since we're dealing with an art room, maybe there's like a rare tome of like Pushkin's poetry. That's the only artist
Pushkin
I can
is
think of.
technically later. He would literally be 11 years old at the moment.
Oh no! Like maybe there's like this precocious 11-year-old's poem. And I'm trying to think. I was like winging this. Like, yeah, she has a question about like, I don't know, like the Russian term for this art thing. I don't know. She's just making it up as she goes along. She's just trying to get them to talk to each other because it amuses her.
So she's gonna she's going to look at one of the paintings.
Wait, which
and-
Pushkin? Alexander or
Pushkin.
Vasily?
Oh,
Alexander.
yeah, I was thinking of. I didn't know there was 2.
She's going to like kind of point at the abbey at the oak tree. Or
Vasily
at the
Pushkin
oakwood.
but he was a minor poet at the time, but he would be alive.
And she's gonna be like, how would you translate the name of this painting into Russian? I have to know. It's been bothering me all day. She's just gonna like look past Tokarev's shoulder and see her sister just like
grinning evilly.
I mean, you know your letters. You know how it sounds in Russian. I mean, you say the name in Russian, so you must already know this. But I understand. And he'll just like he'll pull out like just a random scrap of paper he has in a pocket and a pen, and just start writing. Just okay, so it's this here,
just like patting her.
and. I mean, he's going into way too much detail for what he knows is probably just a very panicked question, but is 100% just going with it. And just be like, I get it. You're frazzled. This is not a great moment for you. Your face is betraying everything right now, but I'm not gonna let you know that.
I want to talk to Ilya. I think I see something here. I bet he can see this.
Who are you trying to talk to?
Who?
My sister.
Okay, yes, of course.
Oh, have you been saying Ilya? Because it's been sounding like you're saying Ilya.
Ulia, I don't know.
Yeah, Yulia.
Uh,
In English, Julie.
Con-
which actually sounds really out of place with all these names.
I actually know somebody
Oh my
whose
god, this is
name
like the
is
fucking Tiffany
Yulia.
problem.
Yeah,
I actually know somebody whose name is Yulia, but it's spelt like Julia.
yeah, it's
Constantine is watching. He
okay.
unfortunately has lost his orbit and his chance.
Mhm.
So he's observing this, and he says, "Julia, please, you look hungry. Have some food." And I get some food from a nearby waiter and contradict myself from earlier. And I give her some food.
She graciously takes it, is clearly trying to be the polite young lady, like, very demure and ladylike that she's supposed to be, and eats daintily.
Yes.
Yes, I saw our uncle leave, and it's
It's
well,
it's fine. It's fine. That's Roman Mikhailovich. That is how he is, isn't it? That's our uncle. God bless our uncle. I'm sorry.
I think I'll have to do a lot more than bless him for him to come to his senses, but
Yeah, Ulia, do you know this lady here? And I point toward Magdalena. Of course you do. This is your cousin,
yes,
right?
of course. Well,
This is
yes,
your
well, my
husband's.
husband's cousins, rather.
Right. This is very entertaining to me, Ulia. Do you see what's happening here? And I point, as Magdalena is talking to Tokarov.
She does look quite flustered, I think is the correct word.
She looks flustered to me. I agree with you. I can't help but notice that your cousin has a lot of she has a lot of friends, but you know what they say about people, that you know a lot more about them from their enemies.
I fear that, with the war going on, it's most of the family's enemies are probably going to be on the side of Bonaparte.
That is unfortunate. I God bless our Tsar and the Empire. But it seems to me that she could probably use a good friend.
I mean, she seems to have plenty of friends already.
Yes, but not a friend like you, Ilya. I think that you should get to know Magdalena. And I use a resolve token to try to tell Ulia to try to get into the good graces of Magdalena and help matchmake with Tokarev. Since she helped organize this and knows Countess Galina and Anastasia and Ekaterina.
All right. She'll kind of give her brother like a knowing wink, and then kind of almost like float off towards Magdalena. Still trying very hard to seem about as ladylike as she can be. Oh dear, Magdalena, it's how are you doing?
She'll just start a little bit because she's
Poor,
just kind
poor
of like
Magdalena.
she's just kind of like paying attention to what Tokarev is writing, and then she'll start and she'll be like, "Oh, I'm can I talk to you? I
Of
pardon me,
course.
Tokarev. Thank you so much." She'll take the paper out of his hand.
You'll nod and bow a little bit. Of course.
Yulia will lead her kind of back to closer towards the gardens where there's a bit more privacy.
Yeah, she's just gonna like deflate on a chair and just like
Aw.
I
Gosh.
have never been this stressed out in my whole life. And I don't know how you do it.
Not easily. Honestly, it doesn't come naturally to. I don't know a single woman who ever said that her first soiree, well, either it went smoothly or without stress. So you are doing a phenomenal job.
Honestly, if it wasn't for Anna, I wouldn't know what to do. She's a lot more level-headed than I am.
Oh, but here's the thing: she has been doing this for the past 20 years. That is her
Anna?
advantage over you. Oh, yes, she's been doing it since she
My
was
sister?
married. Oh no, sorry, Anna.
Anna.
Sorry about that. I thought you meant
Anne-Marie.
like your
No,
Anastasia.
Anna.
Your
I
no.
would never call her Anna.
Okay, got it. Yeah, your sister Anna. Sorry about that. Well, actually, she hasn't really spoken to very many people. Honestly, I think the hardest part about being the host is having to talk to everyone. I hate it. You have to stand there and
It's
greet them at the
so-
door, and then it's like you have to pay attention to them. And honestly, half the people here are not worth paying attention to.
And she'll just like look around, and her eyes will like settle on like Ekaterina and Galina, and then her eyes will like go to Tokarev, and then she'll just like, you, what? I mean, everybody here seems fine except for the gentleman that spilled champagne on one of the guests. And
Yeah, that
did you know that man?
was my uncle.
And she'll just, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if I
sorry to be
offended
related.
you.
I know, no worries. I am sorry to be related to him, actually.
Honestly, it's very nice to have somebody who knows most of the people here, and kind of.
I don't know most of them. I just know I've seen enough of them, and I've heard enough about their families to know that about half of them have about as much going for them as wilting flowers.
Including Tokarev?
Oh no, he's actually, come to think about it, his father is. He was. Let's see, what do I remember about him? I wouldn't say he's wilting. Quite the opposite, rather. At least if the rumors are true that his father is doing quite well with the railroads, and I'm sure he's doing quite fine.
Her face is like slowly not turning red anymore, because she like.
But I would
feels
say
comfortable.
he is a rather intriguing specimen, I might say.
Oh, he's very smart. He's actually
indeed.
teaching me Russian.
Oh, is he now? And how are your lessons going? Should we switch? Would you like to practice?
She'll and she'll be going.
You were speaking French?
Yes, most likely we've
Okay.
all been speaking French.
And she'll just be like, 9,
Actually,
sorry.
if anything, I think that your Russian is better than my German.
She'll just kind of giggle a little bit, and I would hope so. I mean, you're German. I could teach you German if you'd like.
Yeah, I've been learning some from my husband, but I mean, it's
hard.
It is. It's very different. As I'm sure you're now discovering, it is a very different language.
I am having trouble with the alphabet a lot, and I feel silly, but I always ask for the simplest words to be translated, it seems.
I'd say those are the hardest ones to learn, are the simple ones.
And there's
Not to mention, I mean, and here's where it gets even more complicated. So where I'm from, down kind of like in not in this part, not in this part of the country, they do actually sound a bit different. And then I come up here and they all sound like they're, professors or academics. And then you go to Moscow and it sounds like half of them are gargling.
And she'll just kind of like giggle with her hand over her face. And she'll just.
And that does not make it at all easier.
No, and so many. There's so many brilliant people here today, and I feel like I don't hold a candle to any of them.
Well, I'm sure you'll do just fine, honestly. So here's what you need to pay attention to from now. Is that, now that you have met a decent number of them, it's well, probably all of them at this point. Or was Anastasia was she the one that was greeting everybody at the door? Yes, so what you'll want to pay attention to now is see who sends you invitations to call on you or to invite you to their own gatherings.
Wonderful.
If you can get maybe a couple of those, then you know that you're set in society.
That's kind of a lot.
It'll be quite all right. They'll send it through the look, people will send it through the servants. If you have any questions as to whether or not somebody is worth attending their event, just let me know. I'm staying in town too.
Oh, that would be lovely. I see that your brother's here as well.
Yes, it's actually been quite nice seeing him again. It's been far too long, and it's quite unfortunate. The nasty business with Bonaparte is,
Oh.
But enough of the war talk. The men have plenty of that already.
Oh, the men. I heard that the man that got the champagne spilt on him, I heard he was supposed to be at war.
I believe, if I remember correctly, his unit's been they're on leave at the moment.
Oh.
So they've all come back to Saint Petersburg to get some rest and reprieve from the front.
Oh.
So there should be more of them if you're at all interested.
She'll just kind of blush and she'll be like, I think I'm okay.
Of course. Well, is there anything else I can do for you?
Thank you.
Again, I'll call on you tomorrow and see if you've gotten any new invitations.
Absolutely.
And then she'll kind of like leave and go back to her brother. It's like, give it time.
Yes. I can see that things come in their proper time.
It's like, what is it? It's like having a nice roasted pig. You can't hurry it or the whole thing is burned to ash.
Yes. And you can't overspice it and poke at it too much or you ruin it.
Exactly. So, this will be quite fun, dear brother.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to have such a talented sister.
I aim to please, but seriously, it's hopefully she'll be. What I'm hoping for actually is that one of the other women invite her to one of their events, and that might give us an in.
Excellent. Now we'll have to discuss later what we can do about our dear uncle.
Yes, I told Magdalena that she should that I'll call on her tomorrow about any invitations, so we can make sure that we're going to the correct ones.
You are grown up, dear sister.
A few years abroad does wonders, doesn't it?
Lena will hurriedly try to find her sister.
Belgorod is exactly where Magdalena left him, having pulled out a little pocket copy of a conversation on Russian orthography.
Oh, and Anne-Marie is totally reading over his shoulder, and he doesn't realize it.
She's just like looming in the shadows.
Yeah, she's looming.
Immaterial.
She's
Yes,
shoulder
exactly.
reading a book on Russian phonology.
Well, she's collecting information that will be of use to her sister. She has to help her sister court you in the proper way, of course.
Mm-hmm.
If it's relevant, the author is Vasily Tretiakovsky.
Noted.
He absolutely has not noticed.
Yeah, Lena's gonna hurriedly
While all
find her
this is
sister.
going on-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying while all of this has been going on, Roman has just been kind of walking around looking at everybody he met at the previous gathering and just listening to everybody's conversations and gathering juicy intel. And then he's gonna go inspect that painting that one of his acquaintances. Sorry, which character was it? With all these names going around, it's hard to keep track of.
Which acquaintance?
The one who
painting belongs
looked
to
at the
Anastasia.
painting. Yes,
belongs
the
to
one who
Anastasia.
saw
Magdalena
the
was
painting.
the one who was nervous about it.
Magdalena. After
Okay.
noticing Magdalena looking a little nervous, he's gonna go look at the painting too, see if there's something wrong with it.
Oh, it's not obvious that she's nervous about the painting at all. She's more
Oh.
nervous about being face to face with Tokarev and having her sister in the back just like making wingdings with her hands.
Oh God, yes.
Helpful
I have
wingdings.
ne-
Come on.
I have never heard anyone say that phrase ever, just like reference a font. Just
I know it brought back
Ever.
memories. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember school the wingdings.
yeah, and now there's webdings.
Yeah.
Oh God.
If anything, she's more stressed out about the fact that one of her guests had champagne splashed on them.
Well, he's going to make a note of that then, and just linger around, probably seeing her twin sister shoulder reading over Tokarov.
Ooh, I want to play a token. If this
Okay.
is appropriate. Can I make him have wrong conclusions on something? Would that count as a token?
Yes, that would definitely be for a token.
I want your character to think that Anne-Marie is interested in Tokarev and not Magdalena.
Ooh.
And just see where that goes.
Ooh,
Oh no.
you
Oh,
will
no.
not like where that goes. Roman is just gonna smirk and just. I'll save my monologue token for later, but he's definitely thinking that there's something here he can use. Good.
That one's good. That's
Yes,
good. Yeah, Anne Marie. Yeah, wow. What a mess.
If anything, Magdalena's the mess.
They're all,
I think
everyone's
we
a mess in
got-
their
Oh,
individual
sorry.
way.
No worries. Yes, is there so because it is already 10 it's almost 10:15, is there anything else that people want to finish up here?
No.
All right. So for now, this is basically just closing the chapter, kind of, like in sort of a regular novel, this would be kind of like, you finish a chapter, it's kind of all the interesting things have basically happened at this point. And we are now going to move on to rumors and scandals. So the way that this works is that everyone has the option to either create a rumor or spread a rumor. We already have a couple rumors just due to Constantine's background. But now, would anybody like to go first for either creating or spreading a rumor?
I have one.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead, Ross.
I don't know if this is about. I'm sorry, I'm flipping back and forth from character sheets. So this is about. All right, Baroness Ekaterina Makarovna Korolyova. This is about Ivan Rublevich Gusev, Vanya. So when he was escorted away, and the servants provided him with like a bathhouse and the ability to clean himself up and clothes and everything. There is a rumor that begins to spread that he asked for very strange things and that he could not simply go into a bathhouse, but under strange circumstances asked for a lady's, what do you call a dressing room to be closed, like a private room. And also asked for a large number of clean linens in addition to his the outfit. He had a bunch of strange requests and privacy.
Interesting.
Ooh.
That is juicy.
Very interesting. That is juice. The plot thickens. I guess I'll go next.
All right.
I guess the rumor that Roman will spread is that he noticed Tokarov. Well, okay, Tokarov is the object of affection from Magdalena's sister. And that after the soiree was over, it was reported that they were both seen leaving in the same direction, arm in arm. Continue the night.
Oh,
I have a
What's your
question
name?
about that.
Anne-Marie.
The rumor and scandal thing doesn't mean the end of the event. It just means the end of this part of the event. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And also, rumors do not
Well then.
necessarily have to be true.
Ooh, I think I have one. I know we haven't introduced. I don't think we've introduced these two characters yet, but for Galena's connections,
Okay.
I want there to be a rumor that this famous singer Antonia is shamelessly interested in how do they pronounce in this new money guy, Yakov Smirnov.
Okay.
What a mess. No.
I know, just to make your life more difficult.
All right. Let's see. I am going to spread the rumor that Tokarev is the object of affection for Magdalena's sister. So now, so what this means is that after the event, everybody in society starts hearing about this, and now they believe that this is true.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Juicy. Thicket, did you have any rumors that you want to share?
Yeah, I think it's
Or
just
spread.
Thicket and Danny. Do you guys have any rumors?
I don't have one I want to make, but I want to. I think
Yeah, make her spread.
I want to spread. This would definitely be quietly. Constantine's family
Ooh.
being
that they're
traitors.
Okay. This will be very interesting. And Danny? Is there a rumor that you would like to create or spread?
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh yeah, maybe go to the page.
I think I'm gonna spread that Antonia is interested
Okay.
in Yakov.
Got it. So yeah, so that is all the. So these are all. So anything that hasn't been spread currently, these are actually. So this will be an interesting one. So the one that the Vasilyevs are not Christian, because nobody has tried to spread this one. It was pre-existing. This one is actually starting to fade. You've now been seen in society. You seem quite respectable. People are no longer as certain that you're not Christian, and may be willing to let that one slide about their kind of relationship with the Turks. You seem like upstanding people.
Other than our uncle.
Yeah, other than your uncle.
That guy.
Yeah.
So then kind of what comes after this is regarding reputation, and then the inner conflict. For reputation, this is kind of just going back and thinking. So on your family background sheet, things that you can gain reputation for: acting in the service of duty or morality in a way that compromised your desires. Acted in obedience to society's conventions despite considerable hardship to do so. Denied your desires or made a sacrifice to uphold the family name. And then you can gain a negative tag if you acted in contravention of society's conventions. Acted on a desire in a way that compromised your duty or morality, or shamed or embarrassed the family name. And this is only referring to your major characters. The answer to all of these can be no, and in which case you don't gain any reputation tags. But if you think that you have done something to either gain a positive or negative reputation tag, this is kind of now the place to kind of start thinking back on what just happened. I will say, typically in the first session, people don't really gain reputation tags, just because it's still a lot of just kind of establishing who the character is.
Where are the tags listed? It's
in the tags list is on your family background. Give me 1 second, I can link back to that.
Background.
I have a weird question about the reputation criteria.
Yeah.
For me. Wouldn't one of them trigger just by merit of being at this event? Because it's secured a personal invitation from someone of higher social status than yourself? I don't know whether, like...
Can you repeat that?
One of the reputation criteria for new money is secured a personal invitation from someone of higher social status than yourself. I'm assuming it doesn't include the whole being at the starting event thing.
Yeah, for the starting event that doesn't account. But let's say that you managed to, just because this is one thing where kind of everybody has to.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to check that because the others haven't really happened yet. Yeah. So.
No, of course. And then the second one is for the inner conflict. These are two broad ideas that your character is going to wrestle with kind of throughout the game. This can be something like duty versus love, or honor versus maybe it's like personal gain. So in general, you're thinking in very broad terms about what they're interested in. Looks like Marina's already filled out as security versus love. The way that these actually play out is that this is kind of another way to add depth to your character and things to consider in how they're going to act. So, for instance, for Ekaterina, it may be that kind of maybe there's security for her in joining and trying to join the convent. So for her to act out to that, maybe trying to talk more with with the priest or something about becoming more religious, or going up and approaching her old flame would be an act in the direction of love. So that's kind of how those act out. That's kind of something to consider for adding over the week, as kind of what sort of what ideals and conflicts your character has that they would feel conflicted over. And then finally, we would have the epistolary phase. This is also something that that can be handled just kind of throughout the week. What you're going to do is write 2 letters This is either from your major character or from one of the connection or from your connection characters. Both letters can be from the same character. They can be from different characters. They can be to the same character or like major or connection, or they can be to different characters. They don't need to be very long, but it's just, you know, like what information is being swapped that might and these would be considered private in general. So like, let's say that Tokarev is writing to to Constantine, then only those two characters would actually know the contents, even if everybody else can read it.
2 letters.
Yeah, 2 letters.
Private. Okay.
And for now, just kind of these would be posted in the second channel that we have, like the one with the session recap. And so even though out of character we'll all be able to see them, in character, the only people would know about it would be the ones that are directly involved. Something you can do is you can actually try to write is you can kind of try to convince somebody that you're somebody, and that one character is somebody else. So let's say
That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
going to ask.
Yeah. So out of character, again, keep in mind that it is still a situation of you're only writing 2 letters. They have to be from one of your either your major character or one of your connections to another character. But in character, they can pretend to be, you know, for instance, like Broman can try to pretend to be like writing in the place of Anne Marie or something. And writing to Tokarev. So yeah, it's so that's kind of one way
You
that would
read
work.
my mind, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
What's this? Literary gaslighting?
Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, at what point does literary gaslighting become libel?
Good question.
Only if you figure out who wrote the letter.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Since Rainer will not be joining us, I
Okay.
would have to change my desire, right? Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, you might want to change your desire for that one.
So I will have that set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since, you know, the hedonistic cannot be my object of affection.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, I will. So I'll have that figured out then
Yep.
and DM you that. See if
Sounds
it's all
good.
good.
Otherwise, how did everybody feel about the novel phase? Go
I
well?
was
Good.
stressed.
I think it took us a chunk of time to get used to it, but yeah, I think after today we will do a lot better at it.
Yeah.
If
I know
I
the first session can
Yes,
always
I
be a little
think
bit rough.
I think it went great. I mean, this is like the pilot episode of a telenovela, so next time it's gonna be
Oh
crazy.
god, we're
so-
not gonna have a surprise pregnancy with a twin, are we? Like just
Oh, totally. Yeah.
oh no, the dead twin is suddenly pregnant. Like what?
Yeah.
Like
uh,
telenovelas
Yeah,
are
I thought
wild.
everybody did great today. And honestly, yeah, it's always very interesting
That's
kind of
fun.
seeing how things play out, and also so all the resolve tokens and monologue tokens, those refresh each session. So then like for the next session, then you can go and you know, make it cause more mayhem.
nice.
But yeah, it's about 10:30. I'm not going to keep anybody later. I'll be on for a little bit longer, just kind of finishing up with any sort of like note taking, or if anybody wants to stick around and ask questions.
Thanks a lot,
But
Elizabeth.
yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
thank you.